Good afternoon and hello everyone. Welcome to Kind Malaysia 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, the Spastic Children's Association of Selangor and Federal Territory has come a long way since its humble beginnings in 1960. It has now become a vital link to bring hope to spastic children so that parents with children suffering from cerebral palsy could seek help and assistance from trained personnel. The association manages a spastic center that provides numerous services, facilities, and activities that are used to care and treat these special children. Among them are free transportation, education, and various therapies such as physiotherapy and hydrotherapy. Even till today, the association is a proud reminder of the kind volunteers and staff that offer their help and time to care for the children. It continues to give awareness programs to the public in hopes that this disorder is misunderstood and hence break down the barrier of doubt and suspicion that often linger around people with cerebral palsy. The center is now embarking on an even more ambitious program to expand its facilities as well as increase its self-reliance. So, without further delay, allow me to invite Mr. Herley Abdul Hamid, the Ambassador of Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory, to begin his presentation titled Living with Meaning, the Power of Gratitude.
The biggest disability is in the mind when there is a missing sense of meaning in life. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to all of you kind-hearted Malaysian or anyone else from any part of the world. Thank you, and thank you. I can't be grateful enough for all your kind support to be together with us on this special occasion in Kind Malaysia 2021, the virtual event to connect all of you kind-hearted people, corporations, business, organizations, NGO, and anyone, and in fact any human who looked at being kind as an important part of our happiness. My name is Herley bin Abdul Hamid. I am the ambassador of Spastic Children Associations of Selangor and Federal Territory. I thank you, organizer from Kind Malaysia, for inviting us and inviting me to share a little experience and some story so that we can look at this event as an opportunity not only just being kind, but also to reflect the importance of what we are doing, why we are doing on this special occasion, on this Kind Malaysia 2021. The biggest disability is in the mind is what I've written on my book when I wrote on living with meaning about my son. 16 years ago, I was blessed to be a father when my wife delivered Muhammad Haziq bin Herley, my son. I remember I was so joyful when I heard doctor mention that, Mr. Herley, your son has been safely delivered and your wife is safe as well. I was so glad, I was so grateful, and I was in full emotions of being grateful and gratitude. I didn't know 3 days later, my son was just sleeping the whole day. My son did not feed and my son did not cry. As a first-time father, there was a joke. I was telling my wife, this is easy. You don't have to have the sleepless night that many parents would share when they talk about the experience of turning from a single to parents. But what I didn't realize actually, my son was not crying, my son was not asking for milk. My son was not doing anything, and it wasn't normal until I called the hospital, and then I was asked, Mr. Herley, you have to rush him to the hospital. It could be something wrong with your son. So we make quick decision. I was really rushing that I wanted to make sure that everything was fine. So I drove my car. I was in Ampang. I wanted to send my son to the hospital in Kampung Baru, and it was just like 15 minutes travel from our home to the hospital. I remember I was driving the car with a lot of emotion, not knowing what's going to happen, looking at my son on the lap of my wife. Little that we know, actually, as I drove through the Ampang elevated highway, I could see my son on my left with my wife. He turned from normal skin complexion to yellow, then to blue, and by the time we came down from the highway, he started bleeding, and right in front of the hospital, the bleeding was getting so severe that finally we were told by the doctor that he had sepsis, which is blood infection. The reason why I'm sharing about this story about my son in the book is not about me. It is about the various other things that happened to my son since he was born. A lot of people looked at us. In fact, I remember the experience in the hospital was really difficult, especially when doctor mentioned that, Mr. Herley, you need to be prepared because he may not be able to survive. He could have died immediately. I remember actually there were a lot of doctors. There was this, doctors, the anesthetist. There was this pediatrician. There was this surgeon and so on around him trying to save his condition because sepsis has caused him to lose his sugar level because of the hypoglycemia. He could have died that immediate night on the third day of his life. The next day, the situation got worse, and doctor asked me, Mr. Herley, you have to rush him to the hospital in KL, which is just next door, HKL, Hospital Kuala Lumpur. And then immediately we transferred him to the hospital, and the first thing that doctor called me in that counseling room, I remember in HKL, Mr. Herley, you have to be prepared because he may not survive. Even if he survived, he will be permanently disabled because of the brain injury. That was the time the enjoyment, the joyful feeling of being the first time father shattered. It was very difficult for me to accept that the son that I was waiting for 9 months actually has now been pronounced either died or permanently disabled. I remember in that hospital Kuala Lumpur, the NICU for kids, for the newborn, they have like 4 levels, and then my son was put in the level 4, which is basically means the worst. And then in front of my eyes, I can remember actually one after another of the kids in the ward actually passed away. There were 1 or 2 children actually, they survived, and then finally actually it included me, which is my son. And then he moved from level 4, 3, 2 and 1, and then he went to the normal ward, and then finally went home. The son that I didn't expect, that I was really unsure whether he would survive. Finally, he was at our house, and today he is 16 years old in my house with us, and then he is what I've written in this book about living with meaning. The reason why I'm sharing about living with meaning is not so much about my son. It is not about me. It is the story that I've gone through, because we've been, as I wrote in the book, we've been to many parts of the world. I brought him to China. I brought him to Australia, to New Zealand, to Indonesia, to many parts of the world, including he was the first patient in Malaysia to be going through stem cell transplantation for children with special need, with brain injury. And then we even brought him actually to go through the stem cell transplantation in Beijing, China. And the story that I'm trying to relate, actually, this whole thing of episode of getting support, of sending him here and there for support, is not because of me. It is because of the many kind-hearted people like you. It is the people who made difference to our life. My son can't talk. If ever he is able to tell you, especially those people who were there when we were in need of help, he would say, "Thank you so much." And then I'm as a father, I would do the same thing. "Thank you so much." I remember I was working in a company, and then my employer understood my situation. My employer provided the support, the medical support. I received a lot of emotional support as well. And today, as I look at my son, I wouldn't be able to be doing what I've done, as I've written in the book, how I was able, in fact, to help him when he was about to die for the second time in the hospital Klang, because of the situation was so complicated and bad. He almost died again for the second time because he had a PEG tube, which is like a hole on his stomach, and then it burst. And then he also passed away because when we came back from New Zealand, actually he broke his leg. And because of his complex situation, he could not have survived again. But again, today he is still with us for 16 years despite the multiple near-death situation. And in between, not only that I get support, I also sent him to Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory, where I am the ambassador now. From my story to the experience of sending my son to the Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory, it is all about meaningful life, gratitude, gratefulness for all the kind-hearted people that have been supporting me as a person, me as a father of a disabled son, and to the rest of other children who are getting free of charge services in our center in Petaling Jaya. It is not easy for many people to understand the challenges that we go through. And then it is not easy, not just to people or even to the parents with special children like us, but also to many other people like single mothers, people who need help, people who can make a difference to this world, to the people, and people who are making a difference to other people. And then this is the event in Kind Malaysia that we are gathering together to make a difference, especially in the world that we are living today. I want to talk about living with meaning because that's exactly what we are doing here, to create meaning for ourselves and meaning for everyone else in this world. COVID-19 has changed the entire landscape of the world. Many people died. I've lost my uncle a month ago. I lost a distant brother-in-law 2 weeks ago. I lost another family member 2 days after that. And then now, a group of family members are also struggling in the hospital when they are infected by COVID-19. Kind Malaysia 2021, it is time to be kind. I can't stress enough how important it is for us to be kind. I'm telling you, I'm sharing this story actually as a person who are benefiting from the kindness that I have seen. As I mentioned, if my son can tell, I am thank you for all the support. I want to share with you exactly that is the feeling of people like me, and then like many other parents in the Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory. Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory was founded in 1960. It is more than half a century that this association has been there to support. But the existence of the organization, which today it is able to give free of charge of service so that we can encourage parents so that they don't give up. We want to make it easy for parents to get support in the form of intervention, in the form of physiotherapy, speech therapy, hydrotherapy, and multiple other sensory support that we provide in the center so that the parents can have less worry about looking after the child. This is exactly the message that we want to tell, that whatever that we are doing, whatever the services that we have been doing for the last 60 years since its inception in 1960, it is actually as a result of people like you, like many others. In fact, after I've written the book Living with Meaning about my son, Living. The founder of the Spastic Center, Dr. Lam Peng Chong, passed away in 2019. As a person who was so close to him, I remember the many stories that he talked about. Many of you may have known him. In fact, he came to the Kind Malaysia in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And many of you may know him actually, how he shared about his passion about being kind. So when he passed away in 2019, I've written another book, Living with Meaning, which is a continuation of the first book, Living with Meaning. Why am I relating to this? Being kind, being grateful, and living with gratitude is so powerful. And when Dr. Lam passed away, I remember the many hundreds of children cried and appreciating what he has done, which is more than 50 years of his life, contributing and then making a difference to these children, including my son. As a father, I am representing the many thousands of other parents who are thankful to the many donors and to the many well-wishers who've been supporting the organization. I'm sure this is going beyond just Spastic Children. This is also many other NGOs that many of you are supporting in this event. The thing that I want to share today is really about the importance of doing the right thing, being kind, and then share what we feel as right, what we feel as little contribution that we can change, and then making a difference to this world. I remember this year, 2021, is one of my most difficult year. I remember in June this year, as part of looking after my son, we have a helper, a domestic helper, a maid, who stay with us. In June this year, actually, she had stroke, and then she almost died in my house. It was so difficult. One, actually, we needed more support, and in fact, we looked after my son when she was sick. But more so, actually, what I did was I shared the story of my son. I shared the story of my maid, who has been instrumental in making our life easier. I wouldn't say that we are great parents. We are trying to be good parents, and then we hope we did the right thing for our child. But even our life, actually, we couldn't have done it actually on our own. We have the support of people like our mates, our helper. And when my helper actually had stroke, I was worried that she could have died. And that was the time I shared the story actually through social media. And because of my sharing, a lot of people felt it resonates with their own life, because we talk about being grateful to what we have and reduce our complaint to what we don't have, or the challenges that we are going through, especially in the world that we're living today with COVID-19 and pandemic. So now, time to be grateful, and then we really think that everyone, let's get together and then share the story of kindness and happiness. When I shared in social media, thousands of people actually read my story, and I allowed my book to be downloaded for free, because I think it is important that people get the message of gratitude, so that it helps heal their challenges, it helps heal their sadness, it helps heal their worry about the world that we're living today. Alhamdulillah, what I experienced, I received hundreds of messages that people be thankful, because even though my story is about my son, Muhammad Haziq, who was born with disability, who is a child with cerebral palsy, but the story of challenges, the story of adversity is a common story to everyone. That's the reason why we keep hearing about mental health. That's why we keep hearing about people even commit suicide, and so on. The message that I want to share with you: be kind. Try to understand people. Be empathetic when you talk to people. And the power of gratitude is actually, if you have challenges, just like me, for 16 years going through with my son, I am blessed to instead think more of being grateful instead of complaining or find it's too difficult to face the days. Through grateful, we have survived. Through grateful, I've shared this story to many other people, and then through grateful, today I'm with you to celebrate the day of being kind, the day of trying to do what we can to make the world a better place. The new norm is going to stay with us. The new norm is going to haunt many of us. And the options that we have, there are still many. Be kind, be helpful, and then do the right thing, and then make a difference to this world. From Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory, I encourage you to come and visit us when it's possible, or come and visit us virtually through our Facebook. You can find it, Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory, or SCAS&FT, or you can come to our website www.scasft.org. We would like to share more of meaningful stories from the children, from the parents, from the many volunteers, from our president, Datuk Hong, and from the board members that we have as Spastic Children. We are thank you for all the kindness that you have done. Then we really welcome you to continue working with us. There is a form that you can download so that you can donate, or you can contact with us to share some ideas, to share opportunity to work together with you to make a difference to this world, not just to all the children and so on. And then let's do that as part of the Kind Malaysia 2021. I really welcome you to our booths. I really welcome you to look at some of the photos of our beautiful children, beautiful videos, to beautiful photos that you can come and then have a meaningful reflection on our life. How grateful you are as a human, how grateful you are able to come to this event, and then how grateful we are all to be part of Kind Malaysia 2021. Again, I thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a pleasant day for all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Herley Abdul Hamid, the Ambassador of Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory, for the meaningful presentation.